Lecture on the power of gratitude. Contentment is the highest wealth. Gratitude is a word thrown around so easily these days, yet we overlook it so often. Gratitude is an attitude, but it's also a muscle, a practice, a feeling, a must-have in one's life. The first noble truth of Buddhism is that life is suffering. The cause of suffering is craving. Now, I don't want to sound pessimistic and start ranting on the consumeristic society we live in. In some of my previous content, I've talked about the vibration of desire. David Hawkins, in his map of consciousness, has desires as one of the lower levels of consciousness. Desire, craving, yearning is trying to find happiness outside of oneself. And that's the reason why it's on a lower level. Gratitude, on the other hand, is on a much higher level because it's an appreciation of what we have in life. It's the contentment of our current situation. It's adding love to the present moment. When we crave, we look for faults in life. We look for the lack of what we don't have and forsake and take for granted what we do have. When we practice gratitude, we look for beauty and put the lens and magnify the beauty in our own life. Perspective matter. We lost it. Media and ads trick us with subliminal messages to want more and more. We succumb to the peer pressure. Our need to conform, coupled with our desire and insecurity, put us in an everlasting rat race. Gratitude is the answer. Gratitude is the key. Gratitude is our guardian angel. Gratitude will save us. Gratitude is the best attitudes to adopt. Stay put. I will give you guys more examples and ways to adopt gratitude in your own life. Gratitude is not only to manifest our desired reality. Gratitude is also for those harder moments in life, the inevitable ups and downs. When you adopt an attitude of gratitude, you will have more general sense of well-being, but shit still happens because that's just life. We have no control over life. Life is ephemeral, transient, and fragile. I'm not saying that because it's negative. It is what it is. However, life is more beautiful because of those facts of nature. Because things don't last, we have to care more. Because relationships will end one way or another, we have to care more. Because we will get old and die, we have to take care of our bodies and mind. If we were immortal and could control everything in our external world, gratitude would be useless. But because the outside is subject to the law of uncertainty, decay, and death, we must have gratitude. We must stay in the present moment. We must have gratitude for that moment. We have to shine a light on all that is beautiful in life. Shakespeare said that there is no good or bad, only thinking makes it so. The quote-unquote good, the quote-unquote bad is always available. Shine more light on the good. When the bad, quote-unquote, happens, there is always a silver lining. Look deeper. When you are sick, be appreciative for the rest of your body that is still healthy, and look at the sickness as a growing pain, because sickness, old age, and death are the greatest teachers and bring about the most wisdom. Have perspective instead of always looking at those who have more and are seemingly happier. Look at those who have less and look at how much you really have and how lucky you actually are. You will realize more and more that you are so fucking blessed and lucky. Here are some quick benefits that you might reap when you start practicing more gratitude in your life. Number one, gratitude opens the door to more relationships. Not only does saying thank you constitute good manners, but showing appreciation can help you win friends, according to a 2014 study published in Emotion. The study found that thanking a new acquaintance makes them more likely to seek an ongoing relationship. So whether you thank a stranger for holding the door or send a thank you note to that colleague who helped you with a project, acknowledging other people's contributions can lead to new opportunities. Number two, gratitude improves physical health. Grateful people experience fewer aches and pains and report feeling healthier than other people, according to a 2012 study published in Personality and Individual Differences. Not surprisingly, Grateful people are also more likely to take care of their health. They exercise more often and are more likely to attend regular checkups, which is likely to contribute to further longevity. Number 3, gratitude improves psychological health. Gratitude reduces a multitude of toxic emotions from envy and resentment to frustration and regret. Robert Hammonds, a leading gratitude researcher, has conducted multiple studies on the link between gratitude and well-being. His research confirms that gratitude effectively increases happiness and reduces depression. Number 4, gratitude enhances empathy and reduces aggression. Grateful people are more likely to behave in a pro-social manner even when others behave less kindly. According to a 2012 study by the University of Kentucky, study participants who ranked higher on gratitude scales were less likely to retaliate against others, even when given negative feedback. They experienced more sensitivity and empathy toward other people and a decreased desire to seek revenge. Grateful people sleep better. Writing in a gratitude journal improves sleep, according to a 2011 study published in Applied Psychology, Health and Well-Being. Spend just 15 minutes jotting down a few grateful sentiments before bed and you may sleep better and longer. Number 6, gratitude improves self-esteem. A 2014 study published in the Journal of Applied Sports Psychology found that gratitude increased athletes' self-esteem and an essential component to optimal performance. Other studies have shown that gratitude reduces social comparison. Rather than become resentful toward people who have more money or better jobs, a major factor in reduced self-esteem, grateful people are able to appreciate other people's accomplishments. Number 7, gratitude increases mental strength. For years, research has shown gratitude not only reduces stress, but it may also play a major role in overcoming trauma. A 2006 study published in Behavioral Research and Therapy found that Vietnam War veterans with higher levels of gratitude experienced lower rates of post-traumatic stress disorder. A 2003 study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that gratitude was a major contributor to resilience following the terrorist attacks on September 11. Recognizing all that you have to be thankful for, even during the worst times, fosters resilience. Now, that we are done with the scientific quote-unquote benefit, I'm going to read a few excerpts. The first one is called the thank you technique. That's a story, an anecdote from one of the books of Joseph Murphy, the great Joseph Murphy. In the Bible, Paul recommends that we make known our requests with praise and thanksgivings. Some extraordinary results follow this simple matter of prayer. The thankful heart is always close to the creative forces of the universe, causing countless blessings to flow toward it by the law of reciprocal relationship, based on a cosmic law of action and reaction. For instance, a father promises his son a car for graduation. The boy has not yet to receive the car, but he is very thankful and happy, and he is as joyous as though he had actually received the car already. He knows his father will fulfill his promise, and he's full of gratitude and joy even though he has not yet received the car, objectively speaking. He has, however, received it with joy and thankfulness in his mind, in his imagination. I shall illustrate how Mr. Brooke applied this technique with excellent results. He said, "Bills are piling up. I'm out of work. I have 3 children and no money. What shall I do?" Regularly, every night and morning for a period of about 3 weeks, he repeated the words, "Thank you, Father, for my wealth," in a relaxed, peaceful manner until the feeling or mood of thankfulness dominated his mind. He imagined he was addressing the infinite power and intelligence within him, knowing, of course, that he could not see the creative intelligence or infinite mind. He was seeing with the inner eye of spiritual perception, realizing that his thought image of wealth was the first cause relative to the money, position, and food he needed. His thought feeling was the substance of wealth, untrammeled by antecedent conditions of any kind. By repeating, "Thank you, Father," over and over, his mind and heart were lifted up to the point of acceptance, and when fear thoughts of lack, poverty, and distress came into his mind, he would say, "Thank you, Father," as often as necessary. He knew that as he kept up the thankful attitude, he would recondition his mind to the idea of wealth, which is what happened. The sequel of his prayer is very interesting. After praying in the above-mentioned manner, he met a former employee of his own on the street, whom he had not seen for 20 years. The man offered him a very lucrative position and advancing $500 on a temporary loan. Today, Mr. Brooke is vice president of the company for which he works. His recent remark to me was, "I shall never forget the wonders of Thank You, Father. It has worked wonders for me." And that's the first anecdote, and I hope you like it. Now, we're going to talk about another book, and we're going to read an excerpt from another but more recent book by the great Ken Honda. For those of you who haven't read this book, it's named Happy Money, and I strongly recommend it. It's probably at least one of the greatest books I've read on money. Here we go. The most profound lesson in making and securing good fortune came to me from Wahei Takeda, my mentor. He once told me a story of a man who came to him in desperation. The man had massive amounts of debt and needed money. Wahei said he would give him the money, but only if he said "arigato," thank you, 100,000 times. That man, he would have to say "arigato" every minute of the day for months on end. The man agreed. By the time he went to borrow money, he no longer needed it. Why? His mindset of appreciation started to reap its own reward. He was able to pay off his debts and no longer needed to borrow the money. When we say thank you, we release powerful energy into the world. We are instantly present. We realize everything we have is enough. We are enough. We have all that we need. Knowing this and feeling this is the most powerful force in the universe. You can literally achieve anything when you ground yourself in appreciation and gratitude. Another story from another book by Neville Goddard. In The Psychology of Emotions, Professor Rebold writes, "An idea which is only an idea produces nothing and does nothing. It only acts if it is felt, if it is accompanied by an affective state, if it awakens tendency, that is to say, motor elements." The lady in the following story so successfully felt the feeling of a wish fulfilled, she made her mood the character of the night frozen in a delightful dream. Most of us read and love fairy stories, but we all know that stories of improbable riches and good fortune are for the delight of the very young. But are they? I want to tell you of something unbelievably wonderful that happened to me through the power of my imagination, and I'm not young in years. We live in an age which believes in neither fable nor magic, and yet everything I would possibly want in my wildest daydream was given to me by the simple use of what you teach. That imagining creates reality, and that feeling is the secret of imagining. At the time this wonderful thing happened to me, I was out of a job and had no family to fall back upon for support. I needed just about everything. To find a decent job, I needed a car to look for it. And though I had a car, it was so worn out, it was ready to fall apart. I was behind in my rent, I had no proper clothes to seek a job, and today it's no fun for a woman of 55 to apply for a job of any kind. My bank account was almost depleted and there was no friend to whom I could turn. But I had been attending your lectures for almost a year, and my desperation forced me to put my imagination to the test. Indeed, I had nothing to lose. It was natural for me, I suppose, to begin by imagining myself having everything I needed. But I needed so many things, and in such short order, that I found myself exhausted when I finally got through the list. And by that time, I would be nervous and I could not sleep. One lecture night, I heard you tell of an artist who captured the feeling or word, as you call it, of "isn't it wonderful" in his personal experience. I began to apply this idea to my case. Instead of thinking of and imagining every article I needed, I tried to capture the feeling that something wonderful was happening to me. Not tomorrow, not next week, but right now. I would say over and over to myself as I fell asleep, "Isn't it wonderful? Something marvelous is happening to me now." And as I fell asleep, I would feel the way I would expect to feel under such circumstances. I repeated that imaginary action and feeling for 2 months, night after night, and one day in early October, I met a casual friend I had not seen for months, who informed me he was about to leave on a trip to New York. I'd lived in New York many years ago, and we talked of the city a few moments, then parted. I completely forgot the incident. 1 month later, to this day, this man called at my apartment and simply handed me a certified check in my name for $2,500. After I got over the initial shock of seeing my name on a check for so much money, the story that unfolded seemed to me like a dream. It concerned a friend I had not seen nor heard from in more than 25 years. This friend of my past, I now learned, had become extremely wealthy in those 25 years. Our mutual acquaintance who had brought the check to me had met him quite by accident during the trip to New York last month. During that conversation, they spoke of me, and for reasons I was not to know. For to this day, I have not heard from him personally. I have never attempted to contact him. This old friend decided to share a portion of his great wealth with me. For the next 2 years, from the office of his attorney, I received monthly checks so generous in the amount they not only covered every necessary requirement of daily living, but left much over for all the lovely things of life. A car, clothes, a spacious apartment, and best of all, no need to earn my daily bread. This past month, I received a letter and some legal papers to be signed, which provided the continuation of this monthly income for the rest of my natural life. There you go. That's the end of the third anecdote. I hope that by now that you are convinced that gratitude is an essential quality, discipline, and practice that you should add and or perfect in your life. There are many ways you can practice gratitude. I will list a few of them, but the most important thing you need to know is that you have to decide which way is better for you. There's no right or wrong way if it feels good. Gratitude is an attitude more so than a technique or method. Once you find your own rhythm, you can dance to your gratitude tune, to your gratitude beat. That's not a problem. You can start a gratitude journal and list 10 things you are grateful for every day after you wake up and or go to sleep, and or before you go to sleep. You can also try to write 3 things and list why they make you feel so grateful. Take some time and go as deep as possible. You can practice a variation of loving kindness meditation where you spread love to those you love. You can also look back at what they have done for you, what you have done for them. Look into your heart and see how much you love them and what they mean to you, what they truly mean to you. Tony Robbins has a method called priming, which is pretty much the same thing as the journalist, but instead of writing it down, you close your eyes and look at 3 things you are the most grateful for. It could be big things, it could be small things, but you need to go deep and really muster up the feeling as much as you possibly can. Even if you don't have the feeling, it's okay. It will come. It doesn't necessarily come when you're priming. Sometimes it comes during the day, sometimes it comes during the practice, sometimes both. It's a general sense of well-being that will gradually get better. I strongly encourage you to do that. Gary Vaynerchuk, the YouTube sensation, the marketing expert, the marketing guru, if you will, talks about making himself believe his whole family died to understand what really matters in life and to keep things into a bigger perspective and not to let the smaller things of daily life affect him. Sadhguru said something similar in one of his talks. He said that every day when you have and you are still alive and knowing that your loved one has passed away, don't take it for granted. Those are some of the methods you can try and see which one fits better. However, do not get attached to any of them. Try to make your way of feeling gratitude, your own way of feeling gratitude. I have to emphasize on the feeling part. Don't get caught up in the practice of gratitude that is something that has to be done with. Don't treat it as a chore. Don't treat it as something that you resent. It is maybe at the beginning you will resent it a bit, but you have And that's where you might need a little bit of willpower and to put this discipline into place. But when you do it, spend more time into making it feel real and more real. Gratitude is a discipline, but it is one where you have to really try to master the feeling and understanding of gratitude. Of course, you won't always feel the feeling and warmth that comes with gratitude, but it will come more and more, as I said before. When you keep trying it, your mind will start to be conditioned to see the beauty and not the lack, to see what you have and not what you don't have. And as a result, you'll have more and more to be thankful about. Thank you so much for listening to this episode, to this lecture. Please, I really appreciate it. Please comment. Please tell me your stories of gratitude. It does help me as well, not only to see what you think about this video, about this podcast, about this episode, but it also helps my channel grow. Like, comment, even hate on the video if you want to. It still helps, to be honest. Anyway, I hope you guys like this, and I'll talk to you soon.